So, what if you could take the raw power of an entire AI data center and just put it on your desk? Well, that's pretty much the promise behind the new NVIDIA DGX Spark. And in this explainer, we're going to break down exactly how this machine might just change the game for AI development. To really get why a machine like the DGX Spark is such a big deal, we've got to start with the huge problem that pretty much every AI developer and data scientist is facing right now. It's that classic story of having huge ambitions that smash right into a hard technical wall. You know the feeling, right? You've got these incredible, groundbreaking ideas for new AI models, or maybe some really complex data you want to tear into, but then you hit that wall. Your current computer, your PC, just can't handle it. The question is your PC the bottleneck that's holding you back? This right here, this is the dilemma in a nutshell. The most exciting AI tasks today are just incredibly hungry for resources. They need massive amounts of memory and a really specific software stack that even a super high-end gaming PC just doesn't have. This forces you into a tough spot. Either wait around for shared resources in a data center or start running up some seriously expensive bills on the cloud. But what if you could just bypass all of that? What if you had all that data center power sitting right there next to you, ready to go whenever you are? Well, that is the entire idea behind the DGX Spark, and it's kicking off a whole new way to think about AI development. And here it is, the DGX Spark. I mean, look at this thing. It's engineered to be a compact, office-friendly supercomputer. It's the self-contained powerhouse that puts honest-to-goodness, world-class AI performance right into the hands of developers, and it gets rid of all the waiting and complexity of the old way of doing things. The sheer power they've packed into this thing is what really sets it apart. We're talking 1 petaflop of performance. That's a quadrillion, with a Q, calculations per second. It's all running on the latest Blackwell GPU architecture, and it's got a massive 128 gigs of unified memory. And the best part? It comes preloaded with the entire NVIDIA AI software stack, so it's literally ready to go right out of the box. Okay, so the specs on paper are seriously impressive. But what does all that power actually get you? Let's dig into some real-world benchmarks and see how this machine really handles some of the toughest AI tasks out there. First up, fine-tuning. This is where you take a giant pre-trained AI model and you kind of specialize it for a very specific job. It's a critical part of the whole AI workflow, but it is an absolute memory hog because you're adjusting millions of parameters all at once. It's the perfect stress test. And wow, these numbers really tell a story. Just look at that top row. A full fine-tuning of a 3 billion parameter model is just blazing fast. But what's really wild is that last row. Even when you're using a fancy memory-saving technique on a massive 70 billion parameter model, the DGX Spark is still chewing through over 5,000 tokens every single second. And here's the absolute kicker. This isn't just about being faster. It's about doing things that were literally impossible on a desktop before. None of these jobs could even run on a high-end consumer GPU with 32 gigs of memory. The DGX Spark is unlocking a whole new level of what you can do locally. All right, let's switch gears to another super popular and super demanding job, image generation. As a creator, you always want higher quality, bigger images, and you want them faster. And that, of course, takes a ton of memory and a ton of raw compute power. This is where the DGX Spark's support for new data formats really pays off big time. Using the super efficient FP4 precision, it can crank out an incredible 23 high-resolution 1K images every minute. And even if you switch to a more detailed format with a different model, it's still pumping out 7 1K images every 60 seconds. Let's just pause on that for a second. 2.6 seconds. That's how long it takes to go from a text prompt to a beautiful, high-resolution image. That kind of speed completely changes your creative workflow. It means you can try stuff out, experiment, and iterate so much faster. So a single machine is obviously a beast. But what happens when you need to work with the true giants of the AI world? You know, the models that are so massive they usually need a whole rack of servers in a data center. And this is where the design gets really, really clever. You can physically connect 2 of these DGX Spark systems, and they basically act like one, much more powerful machine. They're built to scale up, letting you pool their resources to take on jobs that would be completely impossible in any other desktop setup. The results here are just staggering. What we're looking at is a dual Spark setup running a model with 235 billion parameters, and it's processing over 23,000 tokens per second. I mean, this is a task that is squarely data center territory, and now it's happening on 2 machines that can fit on your desk. It's insane. But let's be real, all this incredible hardware power is totally useless if it's a huge pain to actually use. So let's shift gears and look at the software that makes the DGX Spark a practical tool you'd actually want to use every day, not just some monster for running benchmarks. NVIDIA has made getting started incredibly simple, using a workflow that developers already know and love. You can be up and running in just a few minutes with standard tools like VS Code, you can keep an eye on your system with a simple dashboard, and you can even start chatting with local models through a web UI. It's all about less time setting things up and more time actually creating. And it goes way beyond the basics. NVIDIA gives you a whole library of what they call AI Playbooks. These are basically ready-to-run projects for a huge range of tasks, like building a chatbot, creating a RAG application, or speeding up your data science pipelines. This whole ecosystem makes the platform incredibly versatile from day one. So when you put it all together, this insane hardware performance, the ability to scale it, and this really mature software ecosystem, a very, very clear picture starts to form about where AI development is headed. At its heart, the DGX Spark is all about removing friction. It gets rid of the data center queues, the unpredictable cloud bills, and the hardware limits that stand between a developer and their next great idea. It's making powerful, local, and totally unconstrained experimentation the new normal. And that really brings us to the final and most important question. When you take away all these barriers and put this kind of performance directly into the hands of creators and researchers, the possibilities are just endless. With the power of an AI data center right there on your desk, what will you build?